You know, India, as I pointed out in this program some weeks ago, is moving. The actual nation of India is moving. Doesn't move a lot, but it's moving, and it hits up against the mountains that were known as the Himalayas. Well, it started moving again, and there was a major earthquake in Nepal, this time with a magnitude of 7.3. It hit just over 2 weeks after that massive quake, which killed over 8,000 people. This latest one was felt as far away as New Delhi in India. Terry?
And even more are dead after today's quake, which triggered landslides, destroyed buildings, and may have buried people alive. Dale Hurd has the story.
This lawmaker was addressing Parliament in the afternoon when the camera started to shake. Terrified lawmakers fled the auditorium. The magnitude 7.3 quake hit a remote region near the Chinese border between the capital of Kathmandu and Mount Everest. This man said, "This was a jolt just like the big one last month, though it was not that long. I was very scared." The government says several buildings collapsed in an isolated town that has become a hub for humanitarian aid after the first quake. A rescue team has been searching through the wreckage of the town. The death toll from the first quake over 2 weeks ago is now more than 8,100 people and still climbing. And it also injured almost 18,000. And it flattened mountain villages and destroyed buildings. At 7.8 on the Richter scale, it was Nepal's worst recorded earthquake since 1934, and there have been more than 150 aftershocks. Today's 7.3 quake was 2 miles deeper in the earth, making it not as strong. This video from Operation Blessing shows patients at one of the big hospitals in Kathmandu who had to be moved outside after today's quake. Operation Blessing has been on the scene since the first earthquake, providing safe water and food aid, often in remote, unreached villages. Its safe water team is operating chlorine generators to disinfect up to 800,000 gallons of water a day, and then delivering it to survivors. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
It's a great tragedy, ladies and gentlemen, but it happens. The world we live on, this planet we inhabit, the tectonic plates move. They move out in California, they move at the San Andreas, and there's the Indian plate, and you can see the Asian plate, the Eurasian, and India is jammed up against that Eurasian plate, and every so often it moves. So it's moved, and it causes a great deal of damage. If no people were living there, it would just be more mountains, more rock slides. But in this case, it's a tragedy, a great tragedy. So Operation Blessing is there. The big thing that we're doing is chlorine. We're chlorinating water so they can have safe drinking water. And 800,000 gallons of that stuff. I mean, we have ability to create chlorine, which in turn purifies the water. We don't want to be having chlorinated water forever, but this is an important thing. If you want to help, by the way, and Operation Blessing is there, it's disaster relief. It's 1-800-759-0700, CBN Center, Disaster Relief Fund. This is Operation Blessing. Well, in other news, here at home, big government has become a big and very expensive problem. Our Wendy Griffith has that story from the CBN newsroom. Here's Wendy.
You got that right, Pat. Government regulations are proving to be very costly for the economy. A new report says those regulations cost the U.S. nearly $1.9 trillion a year. That's the finding from an annual report called the 10,000 Commandments from the Competitive Enterprise Institute, according to the Wall Street Journal. The report also points out that the cost of U.S. bureaucracy adds up to, get this, nearly $15,000 per household every year. That's a lot of cash for Americans to have to pay.
That's the blessing of liberalism. That's what they bring us. It's like a blight. It's a curse. And you know what I would suggest? I don't know who's going to get elected president, but I would advise, if there's a Republican going in, that what he does is say, I'm going to issue an executive order that these laws that are being passed by these federal agencies are just nullified all of a sudden, especially all those that have criminal sanctions. Just literally with a stroke of the pen, a president could nullify those things. It is just unbelievable. Each bureaucrat thinks what he does is important. And because he thinks it's important, he thinks he's got to have a bigger agency to take care of the thing that he thinks is important. And so he puts on little agencies, and they in turn think what they're doing is important. So they get more and more and more and more. And it's like a fungus. It spreads. It is an evil fungus, and it needs to be destroyed. Wendy.
Pat, the number of Americans who are not affiliated with any particular religion is on the rise, and the number of people who call themselves Christians is falling. Those are the findings in a new Pew Research poll. Just under 71% of Americans called themselves Christians in 2014. Compare that to 78% back in 2007. 23% identified themselves as atheist, agnostic, or of no particular faith last year. Compare that to only 16% in 2007. Researchers say the drop in the number of Christians may be driven by declines in mainline or liberal Protestant and Catholic churches. Well, some are calling it genocide. From Kenya to Syria to Pakistan, Muslim fanatics are slaughtering Christians. While Western governments have been slow to respond, activists are answering the call. Our Eric Stakelbeck recently spoke to a nun who's on a dangerous mission to help persecuted Christians.
The Islamic terror group ISIS is leaving a trail of destruction across large parts of Syria and Iraq, with a specific target in its crosshairs. Hundreds of thousands of Christians have been displaced from their homes, and countless others have been murdered or enslaved by the jihadist armies of ISIS, with no end in sight. Sister Haughton Dogan has been on the ground and witnessed the devastation of these ancient Christian communities. She's listened to survivors tell how Christian and Yazidi women are being sold into sex slavery.
They choose the most beautiful one, even if they have small child, and they sell these girls, these ladies, to each other. They don't sell to another religion, only to Sunni Muslim. They think there are 12,000 kidnapped in the hand of the ISIS Yazidi alone. What is going on there, what I was hearing, is the highest barbarism on the earth in the history till today.
Her foundation helps the poor and persecuted in 35 countries, providing them with food, clothing, medicine, and shelter. She travels constantly, with a special focus on the Muslim world. The rise of ISIS has frequently brought her to Syria and Iraq to help the region's beleaguered Christian minority.
I'm coming here not for holiday. I'm coming here because I like to bring the voice of the voiceless, that the world hear their voice. They don't have voice more. I am the channel for them. That's right. That is my mission.
Sister Haughton is no stranger to Islamic persecution. As a young girl, threats from local Muslims forced her family to leave their home in Turkey. They relocated to Germany, where she operates her foundation and sounds the alarm about the gathering Islamic storm.
The mission of Baghdadi, of the ISIS, is to complete the world to Islam religion and to bring them to Dar es Salaam, they call that. And Islam is not peace, please. And who says ISIS has not with Islam in connection or something like this, it's not true, he's liar. ISIS is Islam, Islam is ISIS.
She's disappointed by what she calls a weak reaction from the West.
We know according to the Quran, no democracy. Till these verses, no democracy. Islam democracy is opposite, like black and white. And that I hope that America will understand. America has today the power that they can stop this disaster on the earth with another Western country. As
for Sister Haughton, she says she'll keep calling attention to the plight of followers of Jesus around the world, whether the West wants to hear it or not. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, Washington.
What a brave nun, Pat.
Well, she said the truth. ISIS is Islam, Islam is ISIS. That is what Islam is. This isn't some offshoot. This isn't some aberration. This is fundamental teaching from the Quran. They're living out exactly what Muhammad told them to do. This is not some, as I say, some offshoot. And to anybody who says Islam is a religion of peace is an absolute liar, or either that or totally deluded. It is not a religion of peace. Islam does not mean peace. It means submission. Islam means submission, not peace. And A submission is when you have peace, yes, you have given up all of your liberties and you have surrendered to them, then you have peace. Otherwise, they're going to kill you. But that brave nun is sounding an alarm, and ladies and gentlemen, we who claim to be Christians need to stand in prayer and in support. And it's no reason that the United States government, with the power it has at its disposal, doesn't move actively against ISIS. It's just playing with it. It's not serious. We are not having a serious attempt to destroy that iniquitous organization. Well, we have something here in the state of Virginia that's going on. It's important, and Wendy has that for us right now. Wendy.
Pat, here at home, former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell has gained a great deal of support since he was convicted of public corruption 8 months ago. A federal appeals court is hearing arguments today as McDonnell and his wife challenge their convictions. A wide range of legal professionals have filed briefs supporting McDonnell's position, including law professors, former White House lawyers, and dozens of former attorneys general from both parties. McDonnell argues his convictions were based on a flawed view of federal bribery law. He says that interpretation would make routine political courtesies a potential crime. Well, more big sales in the art world. This Picasso painting set a world record for artwork at auction Monday, selling for more than $179 million. Another record was also set for the most expensive sculpture ever sold. Just over $141 million. The buyers chose to remain anonymous. Experts say the high prices were driven by the investment value of the art and by wealthy collectors seeking out the very best works. Pat, I'm speechless.
I'm speechless, too. You know, everybody thought that once upon a time Pablo Picasso was a little bit of a screwball, but the truth is that Woman of Algiers, that's the name of that painting, $179 million. I'm pleased to report that we have been given some time ago at CBN a gold coin that was struck in a Pablo Picasso mold. It was authenticated by his daughter Paloma. It is an incredible artwork, and we right now are going to hold on to it, and who knows what may happen, but it was a sign that God wanted us to get involved in the Middle East, so it was something. Now, I am pleased to report that Regent University had the largest graduation in its history, 1,500 graduates. It was an extraordinary time. And Terry, you witnessed a miracle. There was a
Well, I did. You were not supposed to have a beautiful outside ceremony, can I just say?
There was a storm, one of those tropical storms right to the south of us, and it was all contained. And we were out under beautiful sunny skies. It was a lovely day outside. It
really was. We got up in the morning, looked out the window and remarked, he's been praying again.
Well, God has done it. Wendy, tell us about it.
I love it. All right. Well, this past Saturday, as you mentioned, Regent University celebrated a milestone. It was just one of many highlights during Regent's 35th commencement. Let's take a look.
Oral, Luke, Beeson, Heidi, Renee, Frederick, Charmaine, Siobhan.
This past weekend, family and friends gathered at Regent University to recognize the class of 2015 from Regent's 7 graduate schools and undergraduate program. Dr. Pat Robertson, founder and chancellor of Regent, presided over the ceremony.
So all I can say is it is a great day to be part of Regent University, and this is going to be a tremendous graduation. Congratulations to all of you.
It featured Dr. Jay Sekulow as the keynote speaker. He's the chief counsel of the American Center for Law and Justice.
Let me encourage you today to be flexible, to be molten, so that God can create in you the unique work that only you have been created to do.
Also on hand was United States Congressman and Regent alumni Scott Ridgell.
I'm so grateful for what I learned here and the value of servant leadership, and that civility is not weakness, and that we can love our neighbor and fight for our country.
As graduates received their degrees, the university reached a milestone. Regent celebrated its 20,000th graduate.
From small beginnings, Pat, to a first-class university.
It really is. You know, we have 8 prestigious degree programs and 70. We've added 40 new concentrations degree programs in the last few months. And I want to say, let's see, it's nationally recognized as the top online university. It's ranked by U.S. News and World Report, one of the tops in the nation online, and also here, graduate doctoral programs, and it's just really tremendous.
It really is, and a big class coming in the fall.
Yes, indeed. Record enrollment for the summer, record enrollment for the spring, and it looks like it's going to be record enrollment for the fall. So the region is on the move, and it's just in a very exciting place. But that graduation was beautiful, and that one lady, number 20,000 alumnus.
She didn't know she was going to be number 20,000.
So. Yeah, all of a sudden the confetti cannon blows up, and confetti's all over the place. It was fun.
Great.
It's a beautiful day.